It was in the year 1910. A father was taking his child to a farm. And on the way to the farm, the father got busy talking to his friends. After he completed his chat, he found his child missing. And he found his child in a farm doing some work. He went to the child and asked, Beta, tum kya kar rahe? Then the child looked at his father and told, Papa, I am planting some plants and these plants are going to give me guns instead of fruits with which I am going to shoot the Britishers and make them go out of the country. Everyone around there laughed for the boy's innocence, but some of them clapped for his bravery. Such was the bravery of the child at the age of 3. He grew up to age of 13. And one fine day when he was playing with some of his friends in the ground, he came to know about the bad news regarding the Britishers have done. He came to know that the Britishers were killing and killed some of his friends in a spot, and the boy ran to that spot. After he got to the spot, he found to be in a very terrible situation. He found his friends at the age of 9, 10, 11 were killed and shot dead on the ground. And he also found some of his cousins and some of his relatives who were shot dead. This incident brought a great change in this lad. He went on very furiously, taking the mud in his fist, and promised to himself that one fine day he is going to kill all the Britishers and make them run out of this country. And the boy was growing now. He came to a college stage. He was into the college, and more often he was in libraries than in the classes. He was reading every possible book, turning every page, adding red color to the revolution. The boy was 16 years old now. What could anyone imagine at the age of 16? They would expect a colorful life and a beautiful girlfriend indeed, and cool life. But this person was different. When his father, of course, when his parents asked him to get married, he wrote a letter to his father saying that this life is dedicated to the country, and he left from the house. He wrote in the letter very clearly to his father that his life is dedicated to Mother India. If he is dying for the sake of country, the dead body is going to be the bride, and all the people who are going to sacrifice their lives for the sake of the country are the witness of his marriage. Such was the state of mind of this young lad. Now, the boy was growing ferocious, and he felt that there is one way to fight against the Britishers, and that way could be violence. And according to him, he felt that violence is not a bad thing. He felt that violence is a stage to safeguard our integrity, and it's nothing wrong, and he felt that violence is the best way to fight against the Britishers. And for this, he did not care himself to enter the cave of the demons, the jail of the Britishers, but only with one intention: to roar as loud as a lion so that the people could understand the pain of his roar. Even now, he made the jail as a source of his revolution. He came to know that the people or the Indian prisoners were not given proper food to eat, not even a newspaper to read, not even a copy of paper to write. He found this situation and he took it as a chance of revolution against the Britishers. So he came up with one of the devastating decisions of his life. He told the Britishers that unless the Indians are given the proper amenities, he is going on a go for a hunger strike. And so he did. The hunger strike went on for 10 days. The Britishers did not give a thought on him. The hunger strike went for 25 days. The Britishers were thinking a bit. Now the hunger strike went for 35 days. The name was spreading like a wildfire. The hunger strike went on 45 days. Everyone around came to know that there is a lad who is fighting against the Britishers in the jail. It went on for 55 days. It went on for 60 days. Could you believe me? It went to 61 days when the Britishers had come down and gave all the proper facilities to the Indians who were in the jail. And now he is as famous as Mahatma Gandhi. The boy was growing very ferocious, and now he reached to a very great situation that the Britishers could not control him at any point. They found only one stage that they control him, that is to kill this person. And they came up with the decision. They hanged the person. Even after his death, the Britishers were not satisfied. They have cut his dead body into pieces and threw it into the river. Ladies and gentlemen, if the revolution had another name, it's him. If the sacrifice has a synonym, it's his. And if the bravery has to spread its wings and tell its name loud, it's him again. The pride of India, the proud child of Mother India, Shamshira Sardar Bhagat Singh. The next personality whom we are talking about is really something special. He's a really extraordinary person. It's not Congress, it's not Gandhiji. He is the real threat for the Britishers. Like one of the British officials said, he is an extraordinary threat to the British Empire. Like I read somewhere in the recent times, I heard a video also in recent times about him. Like he plays everything like a game of chess. You are busy protecting your queen, but he has already attacked your king. By the time you know it, it's a checkmate. Whom are we talking about? He was the top 4 in the civils, but he resigned his job thinking that it is easy to be a soldier to the Indians rather than being a slave to the Britishers, and so he has lived his life also. He was a real threat, as I told, and he was a real nightmare for the Britishers also. For this, or because of his threat, once the Britishers have decided to house arrest him. He was house arrested, and there was a policeman who was in charge of this person. Food was given by the police officer, tea was given by the police officer. Believe me, there was no space for even an ant to come inside and a fly to go out. Somehow the policeman wanted to go and search this person inside the house. He went and he was searching for the person, but by the time the policeman realized that he was out, our masterpiece was in Afghanistan. Whom are we really talking about? The most fearless and the most intelligent the time has ever witnessed. It is Netaji Subash Chandra Bose. By the time the Britishers realized he was missing, he was already in Afghanistan. By the time they felt there is something happening with him, he was already in Germany. By the time they realized about him, he was in talks with Adolf Hitler. Note this point, Adolf Hitler looked into eyes of Subhash Chandra Bose and told that it is very much necessary and it is very much correct that the Britishers are afraid of you. You look more intelligent and ferocious. And also, it is an estimated thing that it was Adolf Hitler who gave the name Netaji for Subhash Chandra Bose. Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose always believed in one thing. He really felt that all the great empires in the world were destroyed by the great armies. So he was in a plan of building a great army and wanted to go fight and against the Britishers. He felt that there is a necessity for a great army to build and to make India free. For this, he was traveling corner to the world. It was not Hitler, it was not Stalin, it was not Germany, it was not Japan, it was not Afghanistan. He traveled everywhere. He was traveling, he was running, he was rushing, he was bleeding. Possibly, he was meeting every soldier in all the corners of the world. He met all the soldiers of the Indian army and he encouraged them, saying that, yes, we are all born in enslaved India, but let us die in a free India. Such was his inspiration to the Indian army soldiers. The troops were getting ready. The armies were also getting ready. The people believed that there is something going to happen because the man in the force was Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Are our dreams really coming true? Is really India going to be independent? The troops have already started from Japan. The troops got into the air, but the fate really had a different decision. It was said that Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose met with a flight crash while he was traveling from Japan to India. Nature had different plans for him. Yes, the person may die, but the ideology will not die. The person may disappear, but his motivation will not disappear. The encouragement and the inspiration Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose has given to the Indian army, the people started fighting to the Britishers in a different way, and the Indian freedom struggle took a new shape and the people started fighting against the British Empire in a new method. The person who said that give me your blood has given his blood too. That is Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose for you. India was struggling. Mother India was sacrificing many leaders for the sake of independence. People were fighting from north to south. Leaders were fighting from east to west, but this itself was not enough. We needed a new weapon to fight against the mighty Britishers. We need somebody else to fight in a different way against the Britishers. We needed a silent tsunami and we needed a silent storm to fight these deadly Britishers. And it was then, in the form of Mohandas, Karamchand, Gandhi, the Indian freedom struggle took a different shape. The name which changed the shape of Indian freedom struggle, the name which changed the era of pre-independent India, and the name which took the name of India to different corners of the world, and the name which moved millions of people on this planet. Whenever we say about Gandhi, we remember about the train episode. We all know that Gandhiji was thrown out of the compartment because he was a black person, even though he was carrying a ticket in the train. But few people know the reason what happened to Gandhiji after that incident. That incident really changed the mindset of Gandhiji, and that will be explained by Gandhiji himself later. The person with such kind of mindset entered into the freedom struggle, and the freedom struggle really changed its shape. In those days, people were arrested for 3 reasons. One reason is, if you are a drunkard, you are put in jail. The other reason is, if you are a drug addict, you are put in jail. But the third reason was, if you utter name Gandhiji, you are also put in the jail. That was the influence Gandhiji gave to the British India. People were fighting in a different passion against the Britishers. It was like a group of people were ready to fight against the Britishers and the Britishers used to break their skulls. Now the next team was ready to fight against the Britishers. The Britishers used to break these skulls and next group was also ready. This was a different strategy which the Britishers did not see, and this is not easy to say. It requires a lot of inner strength to fight against this. Such was his leadership. People were moving like an ocean under his leadership and the leaders were moving like waves under his leadership. This impacted on the British Empire. The Britishers had an answer for revolutions. The Britishers had an answer for the weapons, but the Britishers did not have any answer for his silence. They tried in many ways to stop Gandhiji, but they could not. Finally, they came up with one decision, and that decision was to give independence to India, and then India became a free country. Gandhiji was everywhere. He was in the ideology of Einstein. He was in the thought process of Martin Luther King. He was an inspiration to Nelson Mandela. He was also a motivation to Steve Jobs. There is no corner where Gandhiji has not reached. I think that is the reason he is called the father of the nation. The next personality whom I am talking about is probably the greatest personality India has ever produced, in my words, if I am not exaggerating. He is considered as Martin Luther King of India in words of Barack Obama. He is the leader with more number of statues in the world. When I talk about this person, my heart goes with pride. Gandhiji is Mahatma, but he is Mahamanav. I am talking about a person who is scholar in 64 subjects. A person who can speak 9 languages, a person who is an anthropologist, who is a scholar, who is an economist, who is a leader, who is an author, and who is an editor himself. The man who was 70 years back was 200 years ahead. The fate writer of India, the intelligent person, and the brave person, Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. Please don't call him a Dalit leader, but he is also a social scientist himself. But reaching to this stage was not easy for Ambedkar. He faced a stream of sorrows in his life. During his childhood, he had to sit out of the classrooms listening to teachers' teachings, only reason being Dalit. He was not even offered a cup of water in his school stages, and that was the experience he got in his childhood. Even when he was growing, one fine day he was traveling to one of the villages and he felt thirsty. He asked one of his neighbors to give a cup of water, but they did not offer him. Instead, he was told to drink the water on the roads. How could anyone grow from this stage? How could anyone reach their goal from these circumstances? But it was B.R. Ambedkar. Nothing stopped him. He did not even receive proper education in his younger stage, but the only hope he had was his teacher. With help of one of his teachers, he got a chance to go to abroad and get educated. He took this chance to his favor. He read every book possible in the library. He read about every country in the world. He read about everything which was possible to get him or to give a knowledge, and he turned out to be the encyclopedia of wisdom. There is a statistical survey saying that Ambedkar has read 8,000 books in his lifetime. He did not let anything happen out of his way. I don't know whether my language is good enough to describe about Ambedkar. I don't know whether my vocabulary will be enough to write about Ambedkar. But I would put Ambedkar in this way. If you read a book, you are a personality. If you read a college, you are a phenomena. If you read a library, you are an extravaganza. But if you read the world, you are Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar. He became the tone of Dalit. He became the epitome of the country, and he turned out to be the cover page of grit and perseverance. You have a goal and you don't know how to reach your goal. You have a thought process and you don't know how to put it forward exactly. You have a mindset and you don't know how to carry it forward. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar is your answer. Proud to be in the country where Ambedkar was also there. India is not just Taj Mahal. India is not just cricket. India is not just politics. And India is not just Bollywood movies. India is also not 75 years of independence. India is 5000 years of civilization. It is the country on the planet which conducted 2600 years ago its first plastic surgery. 1000 years ago, Aryabhatta was the person who spoke about technology in those days. It was the country which gave education to the world in the form of Nalanda. It is only country on the planet with 1.4 billion population and still have something to do for the rest of the world, and that was proved to be right in the pandemic time under the leadership of Sri PM Narendra Modi ji. We all must be proud that we reached from a stage of carrying the satellite parts on a bicycle to carry 104 satellites on our own rocket to the space. India has become a space center now. We are in the age of Mangalyaan, in the age of Chandrayaan. It's high time that India is becoming the global power. It's a mere time we are becoming an inspiration to the other countries of the world, and it is definitely the right time to carry the legacy forward, and it is the duty of every individual Indian following and carrying the legacy of our freedom fighters. Our freedom fighters paved the way, and it is we who the people have to make that way beautiful and turn this country a better place and a beautiful place to go on this planet. We may not be the richest country on the planet, but definitely we are the proudest country on the planet. Because for India, it's peace over violence, it's people over profits, and it is service over sales. Mera Bharat, Mahan.